Hi, this is Brian B, the Asian Persuasion Magician, and I am going to be the entertainment for you tonight, or today, depending on where you are in the world right now. So this is the advanced social media marketing strategies for picking up clients online, and this is the step-by-step for training. So what are you going to learn? Well, by the end of this training, you're going to get the step-by-steps for picking up clients with social media. And in this case, we're going to be talking about Reddit, which is niche forums, Facebook groups, and with YouTube. And you're also going to learn the API framework for picking up clients online. So by putting this framework into use, you're going to be able to sell without being pushy. In other words, you're going to be able to invite pursuit from your clients. And we're also going to be looking at examples and case studies of these strategies being put into use. And we're going to see exactly how they produce the results. Okay, so the bottom line here is you're going to get the step-by-step roadmap for picking up clients with social media without the overwhelm or these complex procedures like buying Facebook ads and all this other complex stuff. Here's a quick preface though. You can produce results really quickly with these procedures I'm about to show you, meaning that you can put it into work after finishing this video and you can expect results in 1 to 2 days. However, I will say that this process is challenging to implement. It requires you to actually provide legitimate value to your clients instead of just doing these tactics like installing a plugin and pressing this social button to get results. Okay, so it does produce results quickly, but it is challenging. Okay, so let's talk about this for a moment. Who is this for and who is it not for? If you are a coach or consultant who's just getting started and you are looking for clients online, then this is going to work for you. And if you are a freelancer who's using social media strategies to land new projects, this is for you as well. Now, if you are a startup or if you're handling the marketing side of a startup and you're looking to sell your services online, then this is potentially for you as well. So this is not for business opportunity seekers. It's not for spammers. And if you are part of an MLM, I mean, it might work for you, but probably not directly related to your field. Okay, so the advice that we're not going to cover in this tutorial, we're not going to talk about things like post a lot, like schedule your post at 10:30 a.m. on Mondays or doing all these Facebook 101 basics. We're not going to talk about how to get more likes on your Facebook page because frankly, you can't really take likes and cash it in at the bank for money. We're not going to be talking about widgets. We're not going to be talking about apps. We're not going to be talking about these cool social tools. And we're not going to be talking about advice like be authentic or join in the conversation. This is what I call fairy tale advice. It sounds nice and it's fun to implement, but they don't really work that well. What's the problem? Well, the popular advice that we get is post content and use these cool apps and be social on the discussion boards and you'll get clients. But if you think about it, if you post content, that's going to lead to who knows? And that's supposedly going to lead to clients. So you can see there's a missing gap right in the middle there. Lastly, the bad advice that we get. Just be yourself and join in the conversation. Start a blog and post often. Share your stuff on Facebook with all of your friends. Or just buy some Facebook ads. And lastly, start an email list. And if you think about it, what are you supposed to do with an email list? What are you supposed to email out? Bottom line here, the shotgun, throw stuff up and see what happens approach, it does not work in getting you clients. So what do you want to do instead? Well, let me paint a picture for you and use this metaphor. Now, we're going to compare novice real estate agents with successful real estate agents. And basically, we're going to draw the parallel between the ineffective way to pick up clients versus the effective way to pick up clients. So for a novice real estate agent, what do? Well, they hand out flyers, right? They put words like professional, reliable, honest on their flyer. And they put the same message basically on all these bus stop ads. And they cold call and say something like this. Hey, I'm a realtor. Are you selling? No? Well, do you know anyone who's selling? Can you refer me? Here's the underlining approach. Look at me. Please help me. Let's contrast that with the successful real estate agent. Well, they provide answers to real estate related questions like how to market a home, how to evaluate pricing, how to hire a stager, and some paperwork help. They also point out potential problems that the sellers may run into. For example, buyers may fail to get approved for financing, and potential plumbing problems or potential legal problems. Also, they make themselves available for hire. This is also known as call me when you realize when you cannot do all these things on your own. So let's take a look. The underlying approach is here are all the answers to your questions. Now that you have a good idea of what you're going up against, let me solve your problems and be the one to get you the benefits that you want. Let's now draw the parallel. For novice freelancers and struggling coaches and startups, they may do something like this: post up irrelevant content. Top 10 reasons why you should wake up before 6:30 a.m. That's a post title. Or they may talk about themselves. Hey everyone, I'm so excited about my new blog. Click here to find out more. Let me know what you think. The underlying approach in this case: look at me, please somebody pay attention to me. Contrast that with a strategic, effective marketer. They provide answers to questions target customers are asking for, so how to solve XYZ problems. And they also point out hidden challenges that the target customer is facing. So basically the real reason why you're running into these problems is because of ABC things. The underlying approach that they take is this: here are the answers to your questions. Now that you have an idea of what you're up against, let me solve the problems and be the one to get you the benefits that you want. Which approach is more effective? Look at me, somebody please pay attention to me. Or here are the answers to your questions. Now that you have an idea of what you're up against, let me solve the problems and get you the benefits that you want. With that said, let's now take a look at the API framework for picking up clients online. So first thing you want to do is you want to add value. Second thing, you want to draw your target customer's attention to the problem that they're experiencing. Then you want to position yourself as the problem solver, and then you want to invite pursuit. Let's now move on to the walkthrough and implementation. So the platforms we're going to be working with are platforms like Reddit or niche forums. We're going to be working with Facebook groups, and we're also going to be working with YouTube. So we're going to be using these 3 online platforms for picking up clients online. Getting started, we're going to be working with the online discussion boards and niche forums, specifically reddit.com. Now, if you don't know anything about Reddit already, it's basically the world's biggest online discussion board, and it's chopped up divided, I should say, into different subreddits. And these subreddits are basically subforums that are specifically addressing different topics. Anything from dog grooming to traveling to weight loss to really anything under the sun. So let's dive in. Specifically, we're going to be looking at the step-by-steps on how to use these discussion boards to attract clients. And we're going to be doing it in a way that doesn't appear to be spammy, pushy, or obnoxious. Because I'm sure you've seen it before. People jump online and they post these links to their website, to their blogs, saying things like, hey everyone, come check out my website. And it just seems really spammy and annoying. So we're not going to be doing anything like that. And we're going to be looking at success case studies and examples of the process. So you'll see kind of over my shoulder how this is done, and we're going to be looking at case studies where this actually produced results. Let's see how the process works through following the API framework. So first, you're going to find the relevant subreddits or niche forums. Basically, you're going to find out where your target customers are hanging out online, and you want to go there. The second thing you want to do is you want to find out the popular type of content that's posted in those subreddits or niche forums. So they might be how-to guides, they might be news, they might be case studies on the subject. You're going to then post content that adds value to the group, and it's going to address the problems that the target customers are experiencing. And by doing so, you get to position yourself as the problem solver in the eyes of your target customers. And then you want to open yourself up for questions. After that, the client inquiries typically come through the comments section or through inbox if there's a messaging system for the specific platform that you're using. And you get to follow them up with emails. Okay, let's look at some case studies and examples. So case study number 1, this is for the entrepreneur subreddit. And in this case, this is one of the services that I provided before. It's a copywriting service. So number one, finding the relevant subreddits or niche forums. In this case, we're on the entrepreneur subreddit. So all you have to do is search up entrepreneur. Okay, so the first Reddit that popped up, entrepreneur subreddit. As you can see, there are a lot of people subscribed to that subreddit. So all I did was I put in the keyword entrepreneur, and that's the first subreddit that popped up. So this is basically where all my target customers are paying their attention. So you can see 38,000 subscribed, quite a bit of people. So the service in this case is the copywriting service for websites and web-based businesses, and the relevant subreddit, entrepreneur subreddit. Step number two, learn about the popular types of content that's posted in this subreddit. So let's take a look. When you sort the post by top, you get to see all the previous popular posts. So in this case, looking at the highlighted area, you can see that all these posts are talking about success case studies, and sometimes they are how-to guides for achieving success. Okay, so step number three, post content that adds value, address problems of the target customers, and by doing so, you get to position yourself as the problem solver. So let's see how I did that. I posted this post called the 3 newbie online copywriting mistakes that killed the sale. And I posted this, of course, in the entrepreneur subreddit. Step number 4, open yourself up for questions. So these are some of the comments that I received. As you can see, people really appreciated the information. And if you see the comment at the bottom, hi, can I hire you? That's a little bit blunt and a little bit straightforward, but it's not out of the ordinary for you to receive something like this when you're posting something of value. So let's take a look at another one. This is someone asking me about advice for the sales copy for their physical product. And if you read through this, you can see that they are really in need of help. And this is someone who is ideally a customer for me to take on. So step number 5, client inquiries come through comments or inbox, and I would follow them up by email. So let's take a look. This is another private message that I received. If you look at the bottom, will you be interested in paid writing gigs for a while? This is another message that I received through the messaging system, and this person is looking for critique for the copy on their website. Another one, having trouble with my copy on conference page, would love your input. So all these people are the people that I follow up with to provide my service or to offer my service to. Let's break this down now. So through the API framework, first I added value to my target customers with a guide on improving their copywriting. And then I draw their attention to the problems that they're experiencing. I basically identify the common mistakes that entrepreneurs make when they're writing their copy, which results in poor sales numbers. And then I position myself as the problem solver by showing teardowns of the process. And lastly, I invited pursuit, and I welcome questions, and I answered to questions that people had about writing copy. Here's the key. You want to provide legitimate value and actually help people. You want to solve existing problems people have and show your expertise. This is the key to motivate people into contacting you. And this is the trust building process. Very, very important for you to add value up front. Moving on to case study number 2. This is for a writing coaching service, and a coaching service teaching people how to publish on Kindle. Step number 1, find relevant subreddits or niche forums. In this case, I worked with flipping and beer money subreddits because these are subreddits where people go to learn how to do things online, specifically earning money online. So in this case, the service, writing and publishing coaching, and the relevant subreddits, beer money, flipping, and also entrepreneur. Step number 2, learn about the popular type of content. Now, going into the subreddits and sorting by top, you can see in the highlighted area that these posts are mainly talking about how-to tutorials and case studies. So step number 3, post content that adds value, addresses problem of target customers, and positions you as the problem solver. So I basically wrote up this post, and the post title is Kindle Publishing Business, the complete guide to starting a Kindle publishing business. And I also actually created a complimentary video over this. Okay, and we're actually going to be looking at that video later on. All right, so this post itself is the post that positioned me as the expert and also the problem solver for people that are looking to get onto Kindle. As a side note, I actually posted this and cross-posted this on the entrepreneur subreddit because there's just a higher volume in that subreddit. And then step number 4, open yourself up for questions. This is the end off for the post. Leave a comment if you like or hate it. It's all good. Feel free to ask questions if there's anything confusing about this course. Thanks. So lastly, client inquiries come through the comments box, and I follow up them with emails. These are the comments, and looking at the highlighted area, you can see people are asking all sorts of questions on Kindle publishing. This is the same. What advice would you give to e-magazine publishers? How large are these books? And so on and so forth. Okay, so looking at this one anyway, again, appreciate the guide. I might be emailing in the future with a few questions, if that's all right. This is a message of this person asking me about the resources mentioned in the post, and it's uploaded onto my website. Now, these are the people that I can follow up with later on for coaching. Here's another message. The reason I'm messaging you is because I'm interested in starting my own Kindle publishing operation as well. So this is another lead that's generated from the post. This is another message, and this one is a little bit more uncommon. This one is basically someone asking if I have anything to sell them. Here's another post of people asking another question. This is an email that came through after the person read my post, and in the highlighted area, the person is asking about the information on the private coaching. During the recording of this video, I actually received another message from this person reading my post from way long ago, because I actually posted that post, I think it would have been a year ago. And this is just a person thanking me for sharing the information. And this is another lead that I could potentially follow up with. All right, now let's look at some examples. So let's say we're looking at a career and employment coaching service. Step number 1, find relevant subreddits or niche forums. Let's say in this case, the service is career and employment guidance and coaching for 30 to 36-year-olds that are looking to acquire a higher level position. So we would jump into Reddit and look up subreddits like these. So the career guidance subreddit and the career questions subreddit. Step number 2, we would learn about the popular type of content. In this case, we're going to be sorting by top. And looking at the highlighted area, you would see big collection of interview preparation links, getting a job in software development, the discussion roundup, my experience, high school, college students, what things would you like cleared up on about career. So that is an AMA, which stands for Ask Me Anything. People are looking to answer popular questions on this discussion board. And last one, IAMA, which is another Ask Me Anything. So Microsoft engineer who interviews candidates and recruits at universities. This person is, again, looking to give advice to people that are looking to get hired for these kind of work. This is for the other subreddit, 7 advices I wish I knew when I joined a company. And I'm not going to read through the rest, but basically in this case, the popular content that are being posted are things like advice for finding the right career path, success case studies, and AMAs, which is Ask Me Anything. Step 3, post content that adds value, addresses problems of the target customers, and positions you as the problem solver. In this case, these are some of the potential content ideas. Success case studies of researching and identifying the perfect company and position, identifying needs of the company, networking with company recruiters, and getting hired and negotiating fair salary. Here's a note though, this is just an example. You want to use real case studies and real experiences, and you don't want to make stuff up. Step 4, open yourself up for questions. So at the end, you can say, feel free to ask me any questions and hope this helps. And then the potential questions that you might receive from the target audience. How to ensure a position is worth chasing after. How to network with company recruiters, and maybe step-by-step on salary negotiation and acing the interview. After that, you're likely to receive client inquiries through comments, or you might get it straight to your inbox. And you would want to follow them up with personal emails, and you can say something like this: I can help guide you through the process if you're serious in learning more. Moving on, here are some important notes to keep in mind. You want to watch out for moderators, and you want to read through the rules, and you want to abide by the platform rules. For example, on Reddit, you are not encouraged to post bare links, which is just a URL to a website. And typically people don't like self-promotions. Now, you want to make the distinction between blunt self-promotion versus value-adding post. What we've just described, or what I've just described so far, is an example of value-adding post. You want to do that instead of just jumping onto these platforms and saying, hey, check it out, I did XYZ, come to my page or contact me for this and that. So you don't want to do blunt self-promotion with no value added. Again, you want to focus on providing value towards the community, and the best way to do this is through answering popular questions. Another tip, if the post doesn't gain traction, meaning if you post it and nobody comments and nobody asks you any questions or nobody gives you any upvote, then you might want to remove it and post it into a different subreddit at a different time. Last thing here, these concepts are applicable for all the online bulletin boards. So in this case, we just talked about this Reddit platform, but you get to carry this API framework concept over to any bulletin board and use it on these different bulletin boards. They all work the same way. So you can use it on niche forums and medium.com, which is another website that's similar to Reddit. Let's take a more visual look at what the process looks like. So first of all, the target customer sees that you have helpful content that's addressing their problems. They gain the value and recognizes you as the problem solver, the person who has the solution to their problems. They contact you for help and they sign up for your service. What to do now? Well, first of all, you want to head on over to the website to grab your copy of the cheat sheet or presentation slides so you can refer to them and you don't have to come back to this video to watch it all over again. Make sure to subscribe, playlist, favorite, or comment if you haven't done so already, and feel free to ask questions, of course. After that, identify the top 3 to 5 subreddits where your customers are paying their attention. Remember, these are the places where your customers are hanging out, and that these are the places where you get to gain their attention. Once you've done that, you want to brainstorm one post topic for each one of these platforms so you can begin getting your customers' attention. And then proceed to the Facebook Summit, which is the next lesson. Using niche Facebook groups for picking up clients online. So by the end of this summit, you're going to learn step by step how to use these private Facebook groups to attract clients. And what that means is you're going to be able to get these clients messaging you about your product or service instead of you having to chase after them. You're also going to learn how to self-promote properly on Facebook so you're seen as the trusted advisor or the trusted authority instead of a spammer. And I'm going to show you some case studies and some success examples, so to speak, and you're going to be able to see how this process goes down. What we're not going to be talking about in this lesson. So we're not going to be talking about advice like get likes for your page or how to get more likes for your page, because as we know already, we cannot take likes to the bank and cash it for money. We're not going to be talking about posting a lot of content and use pretty images. And we're not going to be talking about advertising or boosting your page post or any of those advertising related tactics. We're not going to be talking about advice like add people to your friends list and message them and pitch them your offer, because that's likely to get you banned. So bottom line, we're not going to be talking about the typical saturated spammy tactics. Alright, so this is what the process looks like by following the API framework. These are the steps. Step number 1, you're going to find these private Facebook groups where your target customers are hanging out in. So basically, they're paying their attention to these private Facebook groups. Step number 2 is to introduce yourself and engage in the discussions through answering questions. So you're not going to be posting random stuff, but rather you're going to be posting answers to the questions that people are asking. Number 3 is to create content, again, addressing popular problems and providing solutions to popular problems. And then you want to open yourself up for questions. Step number 5 is to rinse and repeat the process and follow up leads with your paid offer. So let's take a look. Case study number 1. So this first group is for coaches, authors, and entrepreneurs, and it basically teaches people the necessary online marketing skills. So this group is quite active. As you can see, there are over 2,000 members in this group. And this person came into this group, started answering questions, and then he ended up posting this post. So the summary of this post is this person addressed the common problems people are running into, creating a ton of content but seeing no results. And then he provided this solution, which is a simple 3-step process that gets anyone started up for their online business in generating leads and generating clients. He goes into detail on explaining how the process works, and at the end of this post, as you can see, he put in this call to action for people to ask questions. As you can see, he got a lot of likes and he got a lot of comments for this post, and everyone loved it. People are saying it's excellent and really insightful. And at the end of these comments, he included another link to his paid offer here. Well, it's a free offer that leads to a paid offer. Let's see how he followed the API framework. So he first provided value by answering 2 questions, and then he drew everyone's attention to the problem that they're experiencing, which is spending way too much time creating content and getting no results from the effort. And then he positioned himself as the problem solver by teaching this simplistic system for building an online business and getting clients. After that, he invited pursuit by opening himself up for questions and linking to his paid offer. And the result that he received from this post was that he established himself as the authority in this group, and he also got a bunch of qualified leads that he can follow up with. Also, he got perpetual traffic to his blog because all the new members to that group would scroll down to read through the post, and they would see his post and see how it's popular, read through it, gain the value, and then click through to his blog. Case study number 2, blog building topic. So this group is dedicated to people that are looking to start a blog. And if you know anything about blog building, then you know that guest blogging is one of the most crucial parts to building online traffic and establishing a blog. But most people get stuck when they're trying to get guest blogging opportunities because it's not really easy to do. So this person basically came in at answering to all the guest blogging questions, and he posted this offer for a free course and these templates, offering these templates and scripts on how to get started with guest blogging. So as you can see, many people liked it. 68 people liked the post, and he got over 50 comments on this post. Scrolling through the comments, you can see everyone loved it. Everyone is asking for the actual thing. Everyone's saying, count me in, and they are very interested in this free course and these templates. So taking a look through the API framework, first of all, he added value by answering to the common questions, and then he drew the attention of the target market to the problem, which is they are unsure of how to go about in guest posting. And he positioned himself as the problem solver by offering proven scripts and templates for guest posting. And then he invited pursuit, and he said, if there's enough demand, I'll create this free course. Sharing is caring. And as a result, he established himself as the authority in the group, and he generated many more than 20 qualified leads that he can now follow up with for coaching service. And he made many friends. Now, going through a personal example, this is for my publishing coaching service. So going through the steps, step number 1 is to find the Facebook group where the target customers are hanging out in. So if I put in the publishing keyword into the search bar for Facebook, then all these different groups would pop up. In this case, I have this Pat Flynn's first Kindle book group that I can join. And you can see that there are many members in this group. There are over 11,000 members currently in this group. Step number 2, introduce myself and engage in the discussions. So I post up posts like these in these Facebook groups. So these posts get the discussion going and it creates a dialogue. And this is really good because people get to see that I am participating in these discussions and I am someone who is active within the group. So this one is basically asking who's got informational based products out and who's published Kindle books and who's looking to publish Kindle books. Step number 3 is to create content addressing popular problems and provide solution. So I know that most Kindle book publishers are struggling with their sales numbers. So I posted this post teaching a simple trick to tweak the table of contents for these Kindle books for improving sales. And you can see that a lot of people liked it. 32 people liked the post, and I got a lot of comments on it. Okay. Step number 4 is to open yourself up for questions. So at the end of that post, I had this call to action. Let me know if you have questions on the process. Step number 5 is to rinse, repeat, and receive these private messages and follow leads up with paid offer. Now, these examples or these messages that I received are not in chronological order, but I just want to show you what these messages look like when you receive them. So this person messaged me through Facebook with questions. This person is someone who is from the Philippines actually, and he's looking for information on enrolling in one of my publishing courses. And this person also is looking for the access to one of my courses. This person actually tagged me in one of the posts asking for advice. And you'll also get direct emails like one of these, people asking you for advice. So these are all leads that you can follow up with. Sometimes you'll also get local people contacting you. So these people are from your city, and this guy saw my stuff and is wondering if I do consulting. Here's a note though, the API process takes time and effort. In other words, it is challenging for you to implement this process, because if it was easy, then everyone would be doing it already, right? But you know, the truth is nobody is doing this. So if you actually take your time and you put in your effort in following through with this process, you get to gain all the rewards. And here's a tip for maximizing results. You can repurpose your popular posts for different groups. So if you remember the post that I was talking about the trick for tweaking the table of contents for Kindle books, I repurposed this post for different groups to get the most juice out of it, so to speak. Alright, so this is the Facebook strategy recap. Step 1, you want to find the private Facebook groups where your target customers are hanging out in. You want to then introduce yourself and engage in the discussions through answering questions. You want to then create content addressing popular questions and provide the solution. Step number 4 is to open yourself up for questions. Step number 5 is to rinse and repeat the process and receive the private messages from your leads and follow these leads up with your offer. So add value, attention to problem, position yourself as a problem solver, and then you want to invite pursuit. So why does this work? Well, the target customers see your helpful content addressing the problems that they're experiencing, and they realize that you are the problem solver. And from there, they contact you for more help if they need more help, and then they sign up for your service. This is what I want you to do now. First, you want to go ahead to the website to grab the cheat sheet and presentation slides so you can refer to them as you're going through the process. And you want to subscribe, playlist, favorite, and comment if you haven't done so already. And this is my suggestion. Do research on the 3 to 5 niche Facebook groups that your target customers are hanging out in and join these groups. You want to introduce yourself and set a commitment to post once per day in each one of these groups. You don't have to post anything extensive, but become seen as someone who is active within the community. And then proceed to the YouTube Summit. YouTube strategies for picking up clients online. So by the end of this summit, you're going to learn the step-by-steps for attracting pre-qualified leads using simple YouTube videos. And you're going to learn about the 3 types of content that you can create that builds trust with your customers and actually motivates them in getting in touch with you and purchasing from you. You're also going to learn how to do all of this without a huge YouTube following. And you're going to see how you can use YouTube to create a stream of inbound leads. And this leads to a sustainable business. And lastly, we're going to talk about popular YouTube myths and mistakes most people make. Alright, so I thought we'd start off on a high note and talk about the myths and mistakes first. So myth number 1 is that you need a giant following for you to gain any attention on YouTube. Here's the fact. There are 2 different types of YouTube channels. There are the entertainment channels and the how-to channels, and they are completely different. It's the difference between entertainment versus function. For you to succeed with these how-to niches, you actually want targeted attention. In other words, you're not going to be creating videos for everyone, and you do not need a huge following to succeed in creating income. Myth number 2 is that money comes from advertising on videos. Well, it's true that you can make money through advertising. For the niche how-to channels, that is not going to be how you monetize. Here's the fact. You earn about $1,000 per 1 million views. So if you add that up, you actually need a lot of views for you to make any money. So for these how-to niches, as mentioned before, the money is made through coaching and product sales. Myth number 3 is that it's too late to get started on YouTube. But here's the fact. YouTube is actually quite different from Google. Nowadays, when you start a new website, it's very unlikely for your new website and your new website pages to get ranked on first page of Google. However, if you post a new video starting today and did a little bit of promotion, then it is very likely for you to get ranked on first page on YouTube. Okay, so in other words, you have a chance of getting discovered even if you are brand new. Here's another thing to note. Quality content rises up over time. So if you put out a piece of content that's really high in quality, it would rise above the rankings of the previous videos and stick to the top. Now, the opposite is true as well. If you put out low quality content, then it would sink to the bottom and it would basically disappear. Okay, so let's move on to mistakes. The first one is self-focused content. Now, many people get onto YouTube and they think they're gonna start to build this following by talking about whatever they want to talk about. Now, that is a mistake. You want to shift your focus from whatever you want to talk about to creating content that are being searched for by your target market. Here's a hint. People search for how-to videos on YouTube. So if you create how-to videos over your topic, then you are likely to become discovered. Mistake number 2 is quantity over quality. So instead of that, as mentioned before, you want to create content that's high in quality because high quality content rises to the top and low quality content gets buried. So 3 to 5 high quality videos can actually build your entire channel. And we're going to talk more about that in just a moment here. So mistake number 3 is waiting to get better equipment. So instead of doing that, you want to focus on creating high quality educational content and don't worry too much about getting a great camera, because when someone's looking to solve their own problems, they're not going to be caring too much about the high definition of the video or any of that stuff. And if you want to upgrade, then focus on the sound quality first, because that is the 80-20 of production quality. Alright, so let's move on to the overview of this entire process and see how we can start attracting clients with simple YouTube videos. Step 1 is to identify the content that the target market is searching for, and then go ahead to create the content that provides the answers to those problems. And then you want to provide a call to action for getting more help. Step 4 here is to use other online platforms to support these videos and to promote these videos, but this step is actually optional. Step number 5 is to receive inquiries through email and then follow them up with your paid offer. Step 6, rinse and repeat. Let's jump in now and let's take a look at some case studies. Case study number 1, this is for my copywriting service. So step number 1 is to identify the content the target customers are looking for. In this case, the target customers are small businesses and web-based business owners that are looking to increase their website conversion. They're looking for more sales. Now, I know through my own research that a lot of small business owners look to this book for information on improving their sales. This book is called Influence by Robert Cialdini. With that information, I move on to step 2, which is creating content over that searched for topic. So in this case, I shot this video, or I created this tutorial called the 6 Weapons of Influence. Now, the 6 Weapons of Influence is basically a framework that Robert Cialdini talks about within the Influence book. So I created a video talking about this framework. Step 3 is to provide call to action for getting more help. Now, in the description for this video, I have this call to action and linked for my website. And on my website, I have the call to action for getting in contact with me for copywriting or coaching related services. Step 4 is to use other platforms to promote videos, and this one is optional. So in this case, way later on, I actually posted this Reddit post that I mentioned before in the previous summits about the 3 newbie online copywriting mistakes that killed the sale. So this is the outside promotion. But this step itself is optional, but it does help you get more exposure for your video. Step 5, receive inquiries through email and follow them up with paid offers. So in this case, this person saw my video, got in contact with me, and this is through email. As you can see, the subject line is Cialdini style copywriting. And this person is interested in my services in helping him improve his conversions for his website. Step 6 is to rinse and repeat. So additional topics that I can post up are things like copywriting for websites, direct response advertisement sample, or a video on email marketing tutorial. Case study number 2, this is for my writing and publishing coaching service. So step 1, identify the content the target market is looking for. In this case, I went on to YouTube and used the search bar to type in Kindle publishing, and all these popular keywords basically popped up. Step 2 is to create content over topics and provide answers to problems. I shot a full in-depth tutorial on the topic, which is the Kindle Publishing Business Full Training Tutorial. On top of that, I shot another tutorial teaching people how to write non-fiction books. And this is a pretty in-depth tutorial. It's a step-by-step guide, so to speak. Moving on to step 3, provide call to action for getting more help. So in the description for these videos, I have the call to action to go to my website. And also I have the embedded annotation telling people to come to my website. So for more persuasive writing, publishing, and marketing strategies, come to my website. Step 4 is to use other online platforms to promote videos. In this case, I have the options of going on to these different subreddits to promote the video. So Beer Money subreddit or the Kindle publishing related Facebook groups. Step number 5 is to receive the inquiries through email and then follow them up with a paid offer. So these are the emails that I received. These people are looking for coaching info and they want to be contacted as soon as possible. I received this email from this person who watched my videos and is now interested in getting into online business. Also, sometimes I get inquiries like these. This person wants to know about my online courses. Sometimes you get messages right on your YouTube channel. And then step number 6 is to rinse and repeat. In this case, I posted up more writing related tutorials. So book writing tips. Okay, recap with the process. Step number 1 is to identify the content that the target customers are searching for, and then create content over those topics, answering the questions. Step number 3 is to provide the call to action for getting more help, and step number 4 is to use other online platforms to promote the videos. Step number 5, receive the inquiries through email and then follow them up with your paid offer. Step number 6, rinse and repeat. Let's zoom out for a moment and see how this works. So the target customers experienced a problem and they go onto the YouTube platform looking for the solution. So the target customers find your video and the video delivers value and positions you as the problem solver. So if they're motivated in solving that problem, then they get into contact with you for more help. Let's now move on to engaging video creation. In this portion, I'm going to show you the structure of creating your content so it captures your target customer's attention and motivates them to get into contact with you. Here are the components and the order of it. So first, you need the benefit-rich title. And then in the beginning of the video, you want to restate and elaborate on the benefit and identify the problem that the customers are experiencing. Number 3, you want to actually go ahead and teach a lesson, provide value, and position yourself as the problem solver. And number 4 is to give the call to action for contacting you. Let's now take a look at an example. So this topic is the topic of natural chronic fatigue relief, and the paid offer is the health coaching service. So component number 1 is benefit promising video title. In this case, it would look something like this: chronic fatigue, 3 steps to reversing chronic fatigue without medicine. And then restate and elaborate on benefit and identify problems. So in this case, I'd say something like this: I'm guessing you're waking up exhausted after a full night of sleep. You're probably crashing and burning at work right around 3 p.m. every day. If so, you're about to find 3 simple steps to naturally reverse these problems. Component number 3 is to teach the lesson, provide the value, and position yourself as a problem solver. So in this case, it's step number 1, step number 2, step number 3 to do all these things. Here's a note though, you want to give quality content that shows insight and you want to provide legitimate value, or else the strategy will not work for you, because there's so much crap on YouTube already. If you're not providing legitimate value, then you're just going to end up like everyone else. Also, don't be afraid to give too much away, because most people will still want to be held and led step by step through the process. Moving on to component number 4 is to give the call to action for contacting you. So at the end of the video or in the description, you can say something like this: find out more about the chronic fatigue reversal plan described in this video. Click here. Okay, recap. So benefit promising video title, restate and elaborate on the benefits, teach lesson and provide content and position yourself as a problem solver. Lastly, give the call to action. Moving on, these are the 3 types of value adding videos you can create. So let me break them down. The first one is concept without tactics. Now these videos are insightful, but they are not really usable just yet. Type number 2 is tactics without concepts. Now these are helpful, but not usable. Type number 3 is complete advice, and these introduce a new need. Let's go through some examples. First one, concept without tactics. So these are insightful, but not usable. The example topic is how to take beautiful photographs with DSLR camera. The video content would go something like this: the better your lenses are, the easier it is for you to make photographs look good. Understand how light affects outcome of pictures to master photography, and learn from an expert instructor to cut down on your learning curve. The call to action for that would sound something like this: learn about photography light theory and which lenses to buy. Contact Joe Bob for one-on-one coaching. You can tell that this video provides some insightful stuff, but it's not really applicable because it doesn't show you step by step how to go through the process. So it segues very easily into a coaching offer. Type number 2 is tactics without concepts. So these are helpful, but not usable just yet. So in this case, the example topic is how to set up a dropship e-commerce business. The video content would go something like this. It would list out the actual steps. So step number 1 is to identify 3 to 5 hot items to sell through market research. And then step number 2 is to contact suppliers to set up wholesale agreement. Step number 3, identify unique positioning for brand and set up URL for the store. Step number 4 is to create a 5-page minimalist online store. Number 5, purchase advertisements through Facebook. Number 6, track, test, and refine advertising until profitable. And the last step is to rinse and repeat and add new items to increase revenue. The call to action for this video would sound something like this: need help with the process? Questions? Click here for more information on my in-depth e-commerce business coaching program. You can see how this video gives the overview of all the steps, but it's still going to be tough for a person to figure out how to do it tactically because it doesn't give out the specific details. So again, that segues very easily into this coaching program. Type number 3 is to give complete advice and introduce new needs. Getting started, you would provide the concepts. So the concepts might sound something like this: write company-tailored resumes that highlight relevant experiences. Identify keywords companies screen for and ensure that they are included. Use numbers, concrete references instead of ambiguous qualities or subjective abilities. And then moving on to giving the tactics. Step 1 is to research companies to work for, network with recruiters. Step 2, learn about the problems of the companies that they are looking to resolve. And then step 3 is to craft resumes that positions you as the perfect candidate for solving those problems. The call to action for this video would sound something like this: looking for tips and strategies to ace your interview and land your dream position? Contact Joe Bob to learn about the job interview mastery coaching program. Click here. So how does this work? Well, if you take a look, it gives the conceptual advice and also the tactical advice which helps the person solve the problem of not being able to write a resume that catches recruiters' attention. But once someone gets the callback for an interview, they're gonna need to know how to ace the interview for them to get the job, right? So that segues into this coaching offer of the Job Interview Mastery Coaching Program. Here's the note: provide complete advice as much as you can, because this kind of video content gives you the best chance of getting these people to contact you for your coaching service. Now, here's the final note on YouTube client acquisition. I believe it's the best way for you to create a long-term sustainable business and create a stream of inbound clients. It's one of the most powerful ways for you to build your business, so to speak. If you ask around, most people are actually really intimidated by this video creation process. And what does this mean? Well, more opportunities for you and me. Lastly, we all still have a chance of building a channel with quality content. This is what I want you to do now. First, go on over to the website to grab the cheat sheet and presentation slides. You want to subscribe, playlist, favorite, and comment, and get started by identifying 3 to 5 top questions that your target customers are asking, and get started with creating one video over one of those topics and take action. This is the summary of the social media marketing strategies training. These are the platforms we covered: Reddit, Facebook groups, and YouTube. We have all these different platforms, and we have you. And your target customers are hanging out on these different platforms. When you post these valuable pieces of content on these different platforms, then you draw the attention over to you. So the target customers see that you are the problem solver and they come to you. By posting more content, you get more attention. The important note I will mention one more time is that this process is challenging to implement, and that is why very, very few people actually follow through to do it. And what this means is more opportunities for you and I. All right, so that's about it. If you have comments, questions, then of course you can post them below, and make sure to visit the website for the resources and make sure to take action. This is Brian B, the Asian Persuasion Magician, and I will talk to you soon.